Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. You know what irks me? Montreal's poor highway drainage system and its infrastructure. Today, we're diving into a topic that hits close to home for many Montrealers, the ongoing challenges with our city's water infrastructure, especially in the Décarie area. If you've been following the news, you know that recent flooding incidents have once again highlighted the urgent need for improvements. What is a highway drainage system? It defines highway drainage as removing surplus water within highway limits and disposing of it. Just a few days ago on July 10th, neighborhoods in and around the Décarie were hit hard by flooding after heavy rains overwhelmed the aging drainage systems due to the remnants of Hurricane Beryl. Part of the Décarie Expressway was flooded as streets turned into rivers due to sewer backups and flooding under overpasses. Basements were inundated, approximately 130 homes, and residents were left picking up their pieces. Videos posted to social media showed cars and trucks trying to make their way through the pool of water at an underpass near Côte Saint-Luc Road. Transport Quebec closed that portion of the highway, along with the ramp to Highway 40 West and the 13 North at Hickmore. In many cases, motorists were stranded in their cars and trucks for a short period of time. This isn't the first time this has happened, and sadly, it likely won't be the last unless serious action is taken. Both Environment and Climate Change Canada says it was the wettest July 10th on record in the city of Montreal, where heavy rain, quote unquote, caused numerous sewer backups, flooding under overpasses, and the closure of sections of highways, with some parts of Montreal receiving up to 100 millimeters of rain in a couple of hours. There are officials blaming climate change or using the excuse that, and I quote from Philippe Sorbourny, spokesperson for Montreal, there is no city in the world that can handle the amount of rain Montreal received in a 2-hour span on Thursday. The fact of the matter is, Quebec has been criticized for lacking a central organization to oversee flood management, unlike European countries and even other Canadian provinces. But hey, keep throwing your budget into the ludicrous and corrupt road infrastructure or the language policies. Let us not tackle and deal with actual costly and preventable issues that affect people and their livelihood. The problem isn't just limited to occasional floods. After all, the same thing happened last year, same month, and as far as I can recall, there was no hurricanes that caused that flood. You then have the flood of July in 1997, where 34 millimeters fell. And 10 years prior to that, the worst event of all, the storm of July 87, with 57 millimeters, which brought Montreal to a standstill from a trio of violent thunderstorms. But we will talk a little more about that in a sec. The infrastructure here is outdated and struggling to cope with the demands of a growing city and more frequent extreme weather events. Many of the pipes and drains were laid down decades ago and are well past their intended lifespan. One would think that with imperial evidence and history repeating itself, one would strive to put all efforts possible to correct the flaw, outdated infrastructure. At least Philippe Saburni recognizes that most of the sewer system was built in the 60s, and therefore they are unable to handle this vast amount of water should it occur. Funny thing, he said that there was no way the city could change its water system in months and that it would take years. I said years. You know, just like how you see those famous Montreal orange cones on the same road for 10 years. That kind of work. But wait, let me check my math for a second. 87 to 97, 97 to 07, 07 to 17. Why, we're nearing on 40 years that process could have begun. Imagine what they could have possibly done had they started, 30 some odd years ago. Don't get me wrong. There were some improvements made, and certainly that has helped. But they are not enough to prevent significant flooding when the city is hit by major storms and all the officials, politicians, elected members seem to know about it. Guess it doesn't line their pockets to make actual change. Instead, city officials have acknowledged the issues and have pledged funds for infrastructure upgrades, but progress apparently has been slow. Bureaucracy, budget constraints, and competing priorities often delay such and much needed improvements. All I see are excuses. It's frustrating because we pay taxes, we contribute to the community, But when it rains heavily, we're the ones dealing with flooded basements and damaged property. Did you know that the devastating flood of '87 caused $220 million of property damage? That equals to about $505 million nowadays. And what about the death of one individual? Life is priceless. Did you know that since 2013, Montreal has received over 20,000 reports of flooded residents, and they estimate that this number will only increase? They estimate that redoing all the sewers would cost between $7 to $8 billion, and that by 2050, rainfall intensities will increase by 15%, and the frequency of flooding will most likely double. As residents of Montreal, we have a voice in shaping our city's future. Whether it's contacting local representatives, advocating for more funding, or simply staying informed, each of us can play a part in demanding better infrastructure. Let's hope that by raising awareness and pushing for change, we can prevent future flooding disasters in the Décarie area, Montreal, and beyond. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video to spread the word. Together, we can make a difference. Stay irked, and share your own stories in the comments.